the good ones and the bad ones, but they all have some sort of loose process. But I've never seen one with a 61-day in writing process.
The people peddling the AI and selling the AI are trying to sell the convenience of AI, right?
Yeah.
Everything that people are trying is the convenience. Make it easy. Well, nothing's easy.
And that's great. The cars are lasting longer. That's awesome, right? But at the end of the day, yeah, it's not good for the industry.
No, it's not at all. I mean,
it's not good. It's not good for the dealer body.
No,
it's bad for everybody involved.
The Retain and Gain podcast. Retain and Gain. The Retain and Gain podcast. Retain and Gain.
Dealer Nation, we're back. Yes, with Retain and Gain.
It's been a while.
It has been a minute.
A lot of stuff to talk about.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, it feels like it's been what, a couple of months.
It has been.
Pretty much took the winter off, which is really weird.
Well, it gets cold up here in Iowa.
Yeah, that's what. Now I remember why I didn't come here. It's all coming back to me now. So yeah, we're back. We're back in the studio with the DealerCast offshoot of Retain and Gain, and we got our first topic, which is, I'm shocked. How long have we been talking about response times to leads?
10 years.
No, it's got to be longer than that.
15?
It's got to be 15. It's got to be like 2005ish, 2006. It just became a deal.
Yeah.
So I'd say 20.
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah, it's been
20
a long
years
time.
we've been talking about
response to leads.
Leads response times.
And I can't believe that number.
Yeah, and we find out today that the average response time for a lead is still 42 hours. What the hell is going on? How does that work? How does that happen? What could possibly be going through your mind? When we talk to dealers. We know that there are dealers who their entire, for whatever reason, business model is wrapped up in getting leads, processing through these leads through a BDC or through their sales force, and then they believe that equates to car sales. And yet here we are at 42 hours.
That tells me a couple things. One, that the guys getting the leads don't believe they're leads.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, that's really...
Yeah, I mean, I heard a stat the other day, and I have no backing on this one, but the stat was that like 20% or more of the leads that are given to the BDC or the sales force, they're unreachable.
Yeah.
The connection rates are extremely low. Especially in the third party lead realm.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when your connection rate's that low, it's hard to get. I can see how it's hard to get a BDC or a sales team motivated to make phone calls and continue to follow up when you're not getting any response back.
Yeah. 42 hours for a lead is really a management problem, I would think, too.
I think it's a process problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you heard me. We talked to a dealer the other day, and I asked, and I'll ask the dealer body today, where's your playbook? If your business model is wrapped up in getting leads, processing leads to the point of the sale, and you don't have a playbook, and I don't mean a playbook in your head, a playbook written in your hand, how are you going to handle it from the time you get the lead to the time it's busting bugs? If you don't have a playbook, you don't have
a
business.
process.
You don't have a business because your business is wrapped up on that process.
Yep.
So where is your playbook in writing, and who's managing that playbook? Now, yeah, that's the management problem.
When coming out of COVID, where you didn't need everything, every call was a sale, right? Because
yeah,
every
seems
call
like it
was a sale. You just took orders. And now that we're back in the competitive world, I think you get hit with all these leads, and the conversion ratios on these leads are pretty low. I mean, comparatively to what normal floor traffic, foreign traffic would give you.
Yeah,
These
I
things
mean, I would think that the closing ratios I've seen on third party leads run around 2 to 8%, right? High side 8, low side 2. The closing ratios on first party leads I run between 10 and 20%. And I still think that's even low for your first party leads. There's no doubt that the entire problem is wrapped up in long-term follow-up for sure. If you're getting a lead, I think we need to probably step back
Define
for a
what a lead
second
is.
and define not just what a lead is, because a lead is really an opportunity.
Yeah,
right?
they used to call them ups.
They used to call them ups back in the day, right? But a lead's really an opportunity to do business or an opportunity to sell something. And that opportunity to sell something comes in the form of a form lead, which is what we think of when we say leads, right? I believe. But most dealers that I talk to would tell you that that a lead to them is a form lead coming in through their CRM or from all these other places.
And when you're talking factory OEM conversions, right? Because they have
the OEMs are the lowest converting one.
Well, yeah, but what they think is a conversion, a hard conversion, is a form fill, a phone call, or a floor up, right? Those three are what they count. And through all my experience, the best one is a floor up.
Well, yeah. If it's the numbers are, if you're getting a form lead, you're 61 days from buying a car on average,
and that's what everybody wants.
Yeah, and that's weird.
That's
because
strange.
I would prefer to have the lower funnel ones, especially if I don't have a playbook.
Yeah.
And I got to get this thing closer to the sale.
Yeah.
But if you at 61 days, you better have a 61-day playbook.
Yeah, and you have to have a process, and you have to feed that monster.
And that process has to happen every
day.
single day. And I think I've run into many BDCs in my life, and the good ones and the bad ones, but they all have some sort of loose process. But I've never seen one with a 61-day in writing process. And that's really what you need if you are going to
live and die by leads.
Live and die by leads. Yeah. Especially form leads.
And, it kind of sounds silly to say, do you live or die by leads? We all live and die by traffic. We all have to have opportunities.
Or
right?
opportunities, yeah. Every business.
Every business has to have opportunities. And so when you break it down to the verbal definition of what a lead is, a verbal definition of how, to your point, what's the playbook for our store, right? I like phone ups. If you can make the phone ring, you already got them on the phone.
Yeah.
You don't have to call them back. Floor up, great. Show up and close the deal. But today, form fills are down, Larry. Form fills are down, I believe, because of AI, right? Because AI bringing back your stuff. What is up? I'm seeing phone calls.
Yeah.
Phone calls.
There is no doubt that AI has taken the place of some of the form fills, because the form fill would have been, I don't really know exactly what you have in stock or what's going on with this car, but I want some information on it. So here's my information. Contact me and give me that information. And now I've got AI where I just plug it in and say, I want you to give me this information on a every other day basis or a weekly basis. And it just brings me back the data that I want. And that's happening more and more. As a matter of fact, that I read a study the other day from Claude, where that 44% of consumers, as far as their study goes, are using AI for search. And here we are, arguably 4 years into the AI world, if you would, a revolution. But realistically, 2 years, really a year max on it, this becoming something real. And now you've got buying agents that buy that, or that do the shopping for you. And so it shouldn't shock you that you're not seeing form leads.
No, it shouldn't at all. It shouldn't, and it shouldn't shock you also that what I've read is that phone calls are up because people are making calls because they want to get the information they can't get on the website anymore.
Right. Well,
Isn't that funny?
there's no doubt. We've said it for years. Now this goes back to 2000. I think that was the first year that I got on stage at Digital Theater and said, people buy from people.
Yeah.
Period. People buy from people. That has not changed.
No.
And not likely to change. People buy from people. They don't buy from websites.
Well, people would argue and say, well, Carvana gets it done.
Carvana doesn't get it done. That's absolute horse hockey. I almost said it.
Yeah.
I don't know where the beep button is, y'all. So we're gonna try to keep this PG. But so I don't have the beep button, and so this may not be work friendly right now, or work safe friendly, or whatever that's called. But so it's all a bunch of horse hockey. Carvana delivers most of its vehicles in person. Mm-hmm. They do not come up to they do not deliver to the home most of their vehicles. The average customer buys completely online. The average number of customers is less than 5%. We've got better tools today for them to do that. But people, let's just go ahead and call it. They really don't want to buy online. They want to have the personal interaction. People like people for the most part. Most people do.
And they buy online because they believe that they're averting or are not coming in with the perils of buying a car at the dealership. So they believe, right?
Yeah.
Is that?
They shop online.
Yeah.
They don't buy online. They shop online.
What was that? I read a stat the other day that only 14% of the people that actually come in for a car leave with the car that they came in to buy.
Yeah, well, the ones that shop online, so 75% of consumers go to a third-party website first. That is the horrific, sad truth, dealer body, that we gave up in 2000. We allowed Auto Trader, Cars.com, and Car Gurus
to take their inventory
to take our inventory, come and get in between us and the customer, and become the starting point for shopping.
Yep.
Okay, you allowed it.
Yep.
Get over it. Train left the station. It's way gone. You ain't bringing that one back. That horse is not coming back in the barn.
It may not, but AI might put a dent in that.
AI is going to level that playing field. It's already started. It's leveling that playing field. In fact, I think, I was here a year ago, and I did a presentation for the guys upstairs, the sales team, and I did a perplexity search and asked it to bring back the Jeep Cherokees within 100 miles of the location here, and we got them all back in grid order, price, payment, high to low, basically
everything they wanted,
everything you would want that you would go to Auto Trader or Cars.com or anywhere else to get. You just get it. AI just brings it to you, right?
Yep.
And I did it the other day for O'Donnell, and with a dealer presentation. And now, who showed up first?
No,
Auto Trader, Cars.com,
citations.
Yeah, they are already on the AI SEO train. Get on it now.
Yep, you got to be.
Do not allow these guys to come get in between you and that customer. Stop it now. They're already started.
And they need to know how to make their inventory visible by AI agents.
Yeah, they need to know. Well, the funny thing about AI SEO, and we've got a whole segment on this that's coming up. But the funny thing about AI SEO is that, just like regular SEO, it has two parts, a technical part and a generative part, or a content part. So, and we'll get into that in a little bit more, but the reality is that, you can't just do one or the other.
Gotta do both.
There is no single magic bean or,
like everything else.
Like everything. You're not going to find the silver bullet.
No.
Good good dealers who do good business are doing well right now. Bad dealers who are operating, who are surviving by the market, are not.
No.
And that's just fact. That's the way it's always going to be.
It's always going to be that way.
Right.
And you got to plan.
Yeah.
You got to work the plan.
Yeah.
And the days are the days, and the hours are the hours, and the tasks are the tasks. And the guy that does the same task the most times gets really good at it.
Right. So, when you look at the 42-hour problem, my contention is we're using AI wrong. First of all, AI to answer your leads, that's an autoresponder. And so AI to answer your leads is not
a good idea.
It's not the answer.
No.
It's certainly something you want to do. It's something you want to carry on that conversation. But it's still 100%. I want ear-to-ear conversation with that customer within 5 minutes. That's the reality.
Yeah, if you
But
can,
AI has a role there.
yes, AI limits that.
Yeah. Well, AI helps with that. AI can get your salesperson on the phone with that customer within 5 minutes.
If they fill out a form, I'm saying that if the AI is doing the search for the individual, that's going to limit that interaction. You're not going to get it because the AI is not going to give you a phone number of the person that they're searching for information for.
Right.
But what you're going to find is you're going to find your phone calls go up.
Right.
Because the guys get their information that they need, right?
Yeah.
And then, hey, I'm going to make a phone call.
Yeah. Well, when I'm ready to buy, I'm going to talk to a person.
Right.
Because I want to buy from a person.
Yep.
And I'm not trying, and nothing's changed there.
Why do you think, why is it that we believe that things change, human behavior changes with technology? It can mold behavior, but I don't know what I'm trying to say.
People don't change. That's what you're trying to say. Yeah. People generally
do not change.
Right? What they wanted in 1985 is the same thing they want today.
Now.
They want to buy a vehicle for a fair price from somebody they like, know, and trust.
Yeah. Right. That's it.
And whether it's 1985 or 2025, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Now, what's changed is the technology has made it easier to get the data so that I feel like I am getting a fair price. But it still takes a person to like, know, and trust.
Yep.
That doesn't change.
And then just this week, the FTC, or last week, the FTC and what they're coming out with on how you price it.
We got a whole side topic on that. Whole nother topic on that.
The feds are getting into the pricing issues.
Yeah. Well, that was always
there, but now they're putting fines to it.
Yeah.
And they're really putting teeth into their threats.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of things going on there. But if your business is predicated on leads and you don't have a playbook, get one. You need help? Contact us. I have a whole playbook. I'll give it to you. Just have it.
But we're not saying you've got to have traffic. That's, given. You got to have traffic.
You got to have traffic.
And we say live and die by a lead. We're not saying that you don't have traffic. You have a process for your traffic, right?
Right.
What type of traffic do you want to generate? You talk about margin constriction. I think part of that has to do with we have 3 different sales teams: an internet team, a floor team, and a phone team. Well, it used to be one person did those three things.
Right.
Now we have 3 people doing the same task, which trying to, which compresses margins. There's just a whole gambit of things that have changed just in the last 5 years, man, that has really changed the car business. One being the prices of these vehicles. The average car payment today is like $757 a month.
Again, that's not sustainable.
No, it's not.
The reality is there. That's all COVID. That's all us pushing the price up. Then the negative equity carries over, and so the negative equity is continuing to carry over. This is where we are now in year 3. Realistically, the reality is COVID. We came out of the COVID fog about 2023. And so then you got
the chip shortage. We're still fighting the chip.
And we're still fighting the chip shortage. We're still fighting some inventory problems. You shut down. You have no. I'm not sure anybody, including the manufacturers. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure they did not understand the ramifications of turning a plant off.
And turning a plant on that no one wants to buy, right?
Yeah.
The electrification of the industry is still reverberating through.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was a byproduct. That whole, or not really a byproduct, but a compounding factor. In that you stopped building vehicles for a full year, you started building again, and then you started building vehicles that
no one wanted to buy.
That realistically people weren't wanting to get. You're trying to force that market.
Well, and the government was involved in it.
Yeah.
And when they pulled the subsidies, then people stopped buying them.
Yeah, nobody wants nobody wants the car at that number. They'll take the car if you're going to give it to me that way. But people will take a lot of things if you're going to give it to me.
Well, what will be interesting is what all these off-lease cars are going to do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're going to have to do. Well, they'll do something.
They will.
Because there won't be any other cars to buy.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely, we're in year 3 of this of a 6-year recovery. We got 3 more years before we're fully recovered. That's assuming no one gets stupid and does something else dumb in the next 3 years. That we'll get out of this. I'm still absolutely shocked about the whole subvented leasing thing, and we are not in the middle of that right now. I don't know what the manufacturers are waiting for. I'm sure they've got an answer, but that was the answer a year ago. Still the answer today, but you're a year every bit of a year late, maybe more.
Yeah.
You've got to get this thing back spinning again.
Maybe the OEMs are thinking, hey, if we don't put any lease cars out there, they can't have any CPO cars come back, and we lessen the inventory for used vehicles and make the demand on a new. I don't know, but
maybe I can't imagine that you're looking at this and going, well, I'm going to push up demand, push up costs.
No, I don't think they're going to push. They're not. You can't push up costs to push demand at the same time.
Right. I mean, no, I'm saying you're going to push up gross, right?
Yeah.
Or rather, you're going to lower demand's going to go down. We're going to push up gross profit. We're going to make more per car, sell less cars. Okay, that's a one way of looking at it. But when you do that, you start to move the market out further and further and further and further. And if you're going to do that, if that's your business model and you're not trying to retain your existing customers, good luck. You're done.
Well, what was that stat we heard the other day about the majority of used cars today are 9 years old or older?
Yeah, and then that's the longest. When I got in this business in the 80s, and I'm not going to say when, but I guess it really doesn't matter.
No,
right?
that's still either 81 or 89, still a long time.
That's old no matter how you slice it up, I guess. So, when I got in this business in 84, the average car age or the average turn was 2.7 years.
Yeah.
Right. It was about every 3 years they changed out cars. Now
back in
we're pushed up to 6 and 7 years. You can't win there.
No, I started watching scrappage rates back in the early 90s. Scrappage rate is that when cars are in operation and they go out of operation, they scrap them.
Yeah.
And it was running out 4 to 5 years scrappage rate. Well, now it's like 15.
Yeah. I mean, then that's great. The cars are lasting longer. That's awesome. Right. But at the end of the day, it's not good for the industry.
No, it's not at all. I mean,
it's not good. It's not good for the dealer body.
No,
it's bad for everybody involved. And so, the only way to get that back, and we did it back in the 80s and the 90s with leasing. And it got us back on top. Now it was pretty painful for the manufacturers because people got crazy on residuals. But and they probably will when they do it again. But you know what, guys?
It's a balancing act for them, no doubt about it.
Yeah, but you know what, manufacturers, you're going to do it. Whether you believe it or not, you're going to do it.
They're going to do it.
Have to.
But one thing you're not seeing is all the incentives. Remember the days when we used to see 10, 12 grand?
Yeah, they got out of that too. I mean, nobody wanted to be in that rebate game. Got in that rebate game in the
COVID got out of it.
In the early 90s, we got in that rebate game, and you got out of that rebate game. And during the COVID years, and now you're hesitating to want to go back in. We're finally out. But
they're going to go back in.
But you're going to go back in. You are
going to have to.
It's already started, right? I mean, you're already seeing 0% interest. You're already seeing big rebates come back. You're already seeing. I mean, we're back to what is really the normal car business. Some of you guys may not know what the normal car business is. If you got in the business in the last 5 or 6 years, you don't know what the normal car business looks like.
It's not normal. And it's never going to, the other thing we don't talk about is the UAW contracts that were signed by the manufacturers based off the electrification of vehicles.
Oh, Jesus,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
but we're so far off the lead topic. I'm sorry. I know. Sorry. Yeah. This is what happens. So at the end of the day, I mean, getting back to this 42-hour problem, you got to, whether your business is, whether you're leaning on leads hard or you're not leaning on leads hard, you've got to get to a phone conversation, ear to ear, within 5 minutes. Period. End of story. That is the goal. That's the benchmark. That's it. When you do get the lead, if you don't get a lead, if you make a phone call and you don't get an answer, don't be shocked. With all that's going on with the way they're screening out calls today, and the way the mobile carriers have helped in that process. When you make a phone call to a customer, you're likely not to get a pickup. That's okay. So once that happens, you have to send a text and send an email right then. And then you have to set it up to call back in 15 more minutes. Because now you've made the phone call to follow up on the lead. You've left the voicemail. You've sent a text and an email to the customer. They know it's you calling. And 15 minutes later, when you pick up, over 60% of those calls will then pick up.
The other day, we've got some clients that push the phone, push the phone, push the phone. And so we thought it'd be kind of good to do a secret shopper on these guys to see how they answer the phone. And you would be amazed so I listened to these calls, and they would get a salesperson on the phone, and they would ask, hey, I was looking at that Camry out there. Do you still have blah, 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 blah? And it was usually a no, because we were making up the car, right? But what they didn't do was, can I get your name and phone number? Nothing.
Well, that's funny because it's just not taught. It hasn't been taught anymore. You go back to the olden days, Tom Stuker. But I learned from Tom Stuker, and I learned that when I got a phone call, it was always, hey, welcome to Ron Craft, Larry Bruce, Ron Craft Chevrolet. And hey, that's great, Rob. Hey, what can I get your name and number? I'm back in the parts department right now helping out a customer, and I'll get that information and call you right back. It's so easy. So easy to do. It is. Then, as a matter of fact, if I can get your name, your email address, and your mobile number, I'll email you over the information and give you a call. Make sure you got it.
Yeah, that was never part of the conversation. It was yes, no, yes, no.
But it's
yes, no.
It's just a simple word track. Please take this to your sales body today.
Yes, they have to train.
I'm
these
begging
guys,
you.
Right?
I'm
because
begging you.
The customer is going to get lost possibly in your phone system, and so then when you get them, finally they get to talk to someone. That someone had better get their name,
email address, and mobile address. Name, email address, and mobile number. Gotta have it. Gotta have it
today, right now,
all the time.
So I was shocked at the basics. Tim Dees, sure we all remember Tim Dees.
Yeah.
Back to basics. He hammered the basics, the process, the steps to the sale, the meet, the greet, the accounts qualified, the demo, the TO, the box, the close. That got ingrained in people's brains, right? Process.
Right.
And I don't know if it's not gone, but when leads are down, because everyone says leads are down, and someone's got you on the phone, make sure to get the information you need to get, because you might not get another chance to talk to that person if you don't.
Every opportunity, and that's I think we got to stop calling them leads, start calling them opportunities. And an opportunity is anyone who submits a form lead, makes a phone call to my dealership, chats with me on a website, or shows up in my showroom floor. Yep. Those are all opportunities to do business, and I track every single one of them. Yep. I'm going to have to follow up with some longer than others, but follow up has not changed, will not change. It's got to happen. Follow up is one of those things that AI is really good at. Long-term follow-ups, really good at. Yep. That you've got to have it to help you. But if you're going to have AI help you do that, it's got to be as close to a person as possible. To be as close to a person as possible. There's a whole process in doing that. And you just see these companies today that are trying to use AI, and you're just trying to shove something into a chat bot and have it to return something and have that returned to the customer. No one's taken the process, making the process a skill, giving the AI that skill. You're not giving the AI any more skill than you're giving your salespeople.
The people peddling the AI and selling the AI are trying to sell the convenience of AI, right?
Yeah.
Everything that people are trying is the convenience. Make it easy. Well, nothing's easy if you're going to be good at it. Nothing's easy if you're going to be good at it, right? And that seems to be what the technology today has supposedly done, is enabled people not to do things anymore. That's never going to be the case.
Right. It should enable you to do consistent things
Every day.
better.
Yes.
Every day.
Every day.
The same way. And so, it's funny to me that you think AI is going to be able to do it, but you can't train people to do it. If you can't train people to do it, you're not going to train AI to do it.
No, right. Exactly.
Hate to be the bearer of bad news on that one, but that's the way it is. So, the reality of that, of all of this, is that right now, today, we are no better than we were 20 years ago.
Why do you think that's 42 hours? Why do you think that is?
Because, it's the same reason it was 20 years ago, 42 hours. It's when I get it, it's to a salesperson, it's not real money.
Yeah.
Right? It's a possibility of money, and no salesperson likes a possibility of money. They want money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so they get it. They make the phone call. The customer doesn't answer. They have no playbook.
Yep.
So they hang up. They go to the next one, and then maybe they circle back around 2 days later to this follow-up deal. By that time, the
nothing's new, man. With this, nothing's new. These are the same conversations.
And you see it happen over and over and over again. You go, one night, this is so real or so surreal. I think this was the way it was in 2005. And you just see this circular problem that we can't seem to break ourselves out of.
And we believe, or the new technology and the new buzzword is CDP. I know we're not going to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
But that then is the next iteration of technology of convenience, right? Hey, this is going to do this for you, which it can do. But the CDP, if you don't have it set up by a playbook, it ain't going to work for you either.
Well, yeah. The CDP was supposed to be, so back when technology first entered the car business and the sales process, I sold cars on the Go system. Clint McGee.
Yeah.
Thank you, Clint. Clint made me a lot of money. And so, but that system was just a card file, two deck card file system. And that card file system was the follow-up, right?
Yep.
And that was my CDP.
Yep.
And
that was your own.
That was my
your own.
CDP.
Yes.
I can remember Clint would say, you'd always hear him say, pay your dealer back. He's giving you a desk. He's giving you a phone. He's, pay your dealer back. And that your job was to sell cars and pay the dealer back. And I believe in that. Still believe in it. 100%. But all throughout that time and throughout all the companies that I built and sold over the years in the car business, it's always been about the database, the CDP. Mm-hmm. We built a CDP in 1999 called AIM Data. We sold it to Reynolds and Reynolds. The CDP's always been that center. And if you ask 100 dealers, is it a good idea to have a list of your existing customers? 100 dealers are going to say, well, yeah, it's a great idea. Why wouldn't you? If you asked 100 dealers that you have one, that's going to get a very, very different answer.
Yep.
And so, why would you not have a CDP? And it doesn't really matter how much AI you have. If you don't have a CDP to run the AI, it's not going to. Whatever they're doing, whoever's peddling you, next big deal out of this, whoever's peddling you any AI follow up on anything, what's your CDP? What you running off of? If they say the DMS, run, get away as quickly as possible. If they say your CRM, run, get away. The only thing that's going to really run AI is a solid, well-organized CDP.
Correct.
Period. End of story. If you don't have one, you don't have AI.
Correct.
You've got a chatbot that is delivering templates.
Well, and then you have disorganization, right? Yeah. Because the CDP also then is going to unite all your records into one, so that you're just talking. So that it's, to me, a lot of it's cleaning up of messes, right? Keep cleaning up messes messes to give you actionable data, actionable information that either your salesperson or the AI or whatever platform you have can work and reach out and make conversations, right?
Yeah. And we heard that from a big dealer group, not just a couple of weeks ago. I'm interested in actionable data.
Yeah.
Everybody's interested in actionable data.
Yeah.
Actionable data isn't a customer record.
No.
Actionable data is what happens around a customer record.
And when am I supposed to call them back?
Yeah. But it's not. But actionable data isn't in a customer record.
Correct.
And if you think a CDP's value is the customer records, I got news for you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's not. I mean, here at Mudd, you have 333 million customers on the server right here. We have all your customers.
Right.
Your customers aren't valuable. We already have them.
Yeah, we have.
What is valuable is what they do with you. That's the actionable data. That's the action. And just like in the world of physics, every action creates a reaction. And so the actionable data actually surrounds the actions that surround a customer record. And so without that CDP and the actions that surround it, and the actions aren't just, what they do, the action is what the dealership does.
Well, maybe you just then defined or answered the question of the 42 hours.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have a plan. They don't have a CDP, because if they had all these things going on,
you wouldn't have
42 hours.
No, you wouldn't. You'd have 5 minutes.
But to the defense of dealers everywhere and GMs, there's so many people out there peddling half answers as full answers. And it gets frustrating for me to see things that are never going to be what they were perpetuated or proposed to do, right? They can't do it because they're not hooked up to everything. They don't have architecture.
Yeah, we've been talking about this data silo thing. We're about to get that in the CDP in another episode. But we've been talking about this data silo. We've been talking about speed to lead, data silos, technology and process for 20 years plus, right?
Yep.
And if we continuously talk about it, and what's shocking to me after leaving automotive for several years and going into power sports and then coming back is that it hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed.
If anything, it's backed up.
It's backed up. That's what I believe. It's backed up because we bought into these solutions that were going to make everything easy and convenient. Anything good is not easy and convenient. It's hard. And that's why so few people are successful sometimes, is because they do the hard things every single day.
Right. So we have time to wrap this. It probably ought to wrap this one up, but here are the takeaways. My thoughts.
Sure.
My takeaways. Number one, 5 minute to lead, 5 minute ear to ear, not 5 minute email, not a 5 minute text. 5 minute ear to ear. I'm making a phone call to you. I'm following that up with a playbook. If I don't get you, I'm getting with email and text. Then I'm calling you back 15 minutes later, and there should be a full playbook, 61 days to handle leads. But you got to get out of this 42 hour problem. That's my takeaway. Rob, what you got?
Be careful of what you wish for, right? Be careful what you wish for. I believe that the grind is what makes people successful. I don't believe you become a success overnight. You become a success over time. And the grind is what takes over time. And the guys that get good at the grind and doing it day in and day out, those are the guys that win. And so the lead thing, you got to have prospects, you have to have traffic, you have to have opportunities, but you also have to have the daily grind of doing the same thing every day, the process. And the process will save you.
Always.
All
right,
if
guys,
it's a good
that's
process.
it. Yeah, if it's a good process, that's true. Yeah, so that wraps it up for another Retain and Gain. We are back in the studio. We will be bringing these much more consistently from here. Watch out for the dealer cast, because that's going to be coming. That's going to be in the coming up next. But thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Right now.
We'll keep them coming back. Retain and gain. And we're bringing them in. Retain and gain. From CRM smarts to AI brains, the Retain and Gain podcast. It's the name of the game. We're shifting gears to AI overdrive. We'll talk it up and we're breaking it down. The and coming back. Retain and gain. And we'll break it all down. Retain and gain. The Retain and Gain Podcast. Retain and gain.